What's up, everybody? Today we're going to go over to the west side of Kelowna and check out some of the off-road areas that were absolutely devastated by fire just a couple months ago and see what's left. So it's kind of hard to tell in this lighting, but the fire went all across there, and that mountaintop up there is called Blue Grouse. You can see the towers up there. Yeah, it burned all across there. And then Rose Valley, which is off Bartley Trail, is right up there, also burned. So that's where we're gonna go check out. You can see from this side how some of the houses got so lucky. It's burned above them and below them. But that was obviously a lot in part to firefighters' efforts. So as you can see now that we're a bit closer, houses are just scattered all through there, and it's completely burned up top and even burned in between some of the houses. So a lot of people got very lucky, and a lot of people got very unlucky also. So not very far down the road, you start to see the destruction. The hydro crews have been out here every day working very hard to replace hundreds, if not thousands, of telephone poles. You can see all these ones are brand new. So good work to those, ladies and gentlemen. You can see here where fire actually burned between those houses. Like, there's houses right there. It burned right up to their front decks. These couple houses here, it literally burned right around them. And that is brand new renovated house. So, man, jumped over the road here. There's gonna be a lot of work falling all the danger trees that are close to roads and power lines over the next year. A lot of these places got very lucky. You can see it even burned their address sign, the whole bank, yet the house still stands. But right up ahead is the first casualty of the fire, unfortunately. There is the first couple burned places. It's just so sad to see all the carcasses of cars, and yeah, so sad. So you can see Blue Grouse Mountain, which is where we're heading to today, off in the distance there. Really curious to see how that looks and if it's even accessible. See how many down trees and whatnot there are. Now we're coming up to one of the hardest hit areas, as you can see up there, hopefully foundation. There's a beautiful house out on the point here overlooking the lake, which has been reduced to rubble. And unfortunately, there's a couple dozen more places up ahead just like that. Now we come into the neighborhood that was probably hit the worst out of this whole area, with several houses burned right down to nothing, right down to foundation. Very sad to see. See both sides of the road. There's a pool, and the lawn chairs and cushions are in perfect shape, but the whole house is gone. It's crazy. So now we're just turning onto Bear Creek Road. We'll see what the damage is like up here. It already looks so different, just how much you can see through the trees now compared to brushy green forest. As you can tell, all of these power poles up the Forest Service Road have all been replaced. Thousands of hours of work. be able to get a pretty good viewpoint of all the damage right up here. Yeah, as you can see, it was burning hot and for a long time right here. It's a very large house over there, completely untouched, and their next door neighbor burned to the ground. And this is actually pretty close to where the fire jumped the lake and started burning on the other side from the burning embers. Turning into the bottom kind of parking area of Blue Grouse, and it's definitely toasty. So as we head up the road, you can tell just how fast the fire was moving. A lot of these trees, it's just the very bottom burned, and then the top is still totally fine. So it really did sweep through here fast. They've already taken out some of the danger trees. I'm assuming the company that maintains the tower up top's already been through here, but that is very burnt out, that guy. Good news is the bighorn sheep crew that's up here was totally fine. They were able to escape it, which is good. There's a ton of them. Hopefully you can see that one up there. Looks like he's coming to say hello. Or fight me, not sure. Hey buddy. Excuse me? Do you know what way to the towers? Alright, thank you. So you can tell crews have already been up here cutting trees. There's been a couple across the road that they've bucked up. But I think after this winter and a couple of good windstorms, there's going to be a lot of trees down across trails. And if you've ever dealt with burnt trees before, you know that they are so dirty. You get black soot all over everything. Your saw is dirty, hands gets in your vehicles, so that's another major downside. But as far as the trail goes, it's looking nice and clear and open so far. Well, we're getting closer to the top, and just like the houses, it's crazy to see this area of trees totally burnt, and then 80 feet away, big patch of green trees that are totally untouched. Last couple corners before the top, just a lot of the same. Looks like all their equipment survived more or less, which I'm sure they were fighting it as hard as they could while the fires were going. So that's good to see. Well, made it up here to the top of Blue Grouse. Looks like all their equipment, the towers and whatnot, are still in good shape, so that's good. The view is still the same, but definitely a bit different. It's going to be interesting to see it next spring. There's going to be obviously a lot of green grass and flowers and that type of thing, which is always good for forests. but it's gonna be many, many years until it's back to the way it was. So from here, you can see where it jumped the lake over there and burned that whole side also. It really started quite a few fires from the hot embers just jumping ahead and burning, but pretty incredible and scary stuff, forest fires. So the next spot that I'm gonna go to is Bartley, which you can see it from here. It's kind of the next mountain over. Apparently it was hit pretty hard too. The trail's also a little tighter, and yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure what to expect there.
The next day.
All right, made it to the bottom of Bartley. Denny's gonna join me for this one. The sun's come out. It's looking good. So right here at the bottom, there's actually not a lot of burnt. Nothing's burnt actually. You can see up the hill that it is, but I imagine that's gonna change. Dropping a couple pizzles. Hey. All right, and we're off. See what Bartley has to offer. Yeah, so that's good to see. All these homes and businesses with all this equipment at the bottom survived. Looks like a little bit burned down here, but yeah, they did a good job fighting it from those houses. So a lot of the trees are untouched, and then every once in a while, burnt tree. And now we make our way up the trail to the lookout. Definitely a little scorched so far. I'm assuming it's only going to get worse, and all these trees that are not holding on by much are going to fall down across this trail, so that's going to be the worst part. They're just holding onto the bank by nothing already, and now that they're dead and the roots are burned, it's sketchy. Yeah, so crews have obviously been up here too, cleared the road a little bit, so that's a good sign. But there's just gonna be so many more that are gonna fall. Roots ripped right out of the ground. Wow, this looks so different. You used to obviously not be able to see through anything. It was all very thick green, but yeah, burned hot here. I just can't get over how different it looks. It's just apocalyptic. And then spring runoff is going to be interesting because there is nothing to absorb moisture now. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these roads washed out come spring. So we're just popping in this secondary road that you could really not even tell was here before the fire, because spotted a glimpse of a vehicle, and I don't know if it's just someone or a burned vehicle, but if it's burned, then maybe we'll come back and pull it out. So I'm gonna say this truck was here for quite a while before the fire, because it is stripped, but we'll make note of it and come back one day and pull it out. Wow, the glass is all melted there on the dash. It's definitely burned hot. Another good example of the roots burning underground. Pretty wild. Very bony and dry up here now. It used to be so green, and yeah. Anyways, unfortunately we didn't get a VIN off of that one, but we did find an old license plate, so try and run it, see if it's stolen or when it's from, and try to get it out of here. So this area, a ton of the needles that were green and died and have fallen, covering the whole ground. I think areas like this, where there used to be no view or very little view, and now there's a big view. There used to be a ton of juniper bushes right around here. Now, nothing. But you can see the lake down there. Well, came across the first log that's been cut but not wide enough, and that's definitely a case of someone on a quad. They love to cut things quad width, even though it's a road, which, don't be that guy. This area here is probably one of the biggest bummers for me. It used to be so green, and especially in the spring, these puddles and the leafy trees would just grow in tight, and it was really cool. It's like the closest we get to wet climate stuff and kind of jungly feel, but not now. It is a very, very different feel up here. All just very wide open. Pulling out to the cliff edge here. Definitely looks different, but at least the view will still be good. And then way off to our left, you can see blue grouse, where we just came from. There's blue grouse there, and there's the view of Kelowna. You can see the bridge. This one never gets old. You can actually see Big White, the ski resort, off in the distance. But overall, I'm glad to see that this trail is not closed off. There's going to be a lot of damage with fallen trees and washouts in the future, but for now it's good. Well, it is starting to get dark, so we are going to head down. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different, but I think it's cool to see these areas and the devastation that fire can have. It's a good reminder also. And also, it is a good thing for the forest. This is supposed to happen to the forest. Unfortunately, it's always very sad when it affects people and their homes. But even by spring, this is going to be a good thing for the forest. We're going to see grasses and flowers and stuff coming back. The forest will regrow, and in the long run, it's a good thing for a forest. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.